This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Welcome to the world premiere of the newest show on Most Valuable Podcasts. This is Too Old to Game. I'm Dave Oster. I'm your host today, and I'm joined by the Mark Weber.
Dub them ease.
And the man-child himself.
The original man-child, Ricky.
The original man-child.
What's up, guys?
All right. Well, that was weird.
Do you feel good hosting?
I don't. No, I shouldn't be on this side of the table. I should be on that side of the table. This is terribly wrong. But being that I am over here, I do have some housekeeping duties to take care of for these guys right here. First up, can you please take a look at our Patreon, patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. If you want to support us even more than you are just by watching our content now. If you want to check out our store, check out the link down below to pick up one of these bad boy t-shirts.
It looks beautiful,
just saying,
Dave. It looks
they're
beautiful.
Comfy, they're
nice.
fantastic.
And you'll see Dave on the store.
I am also repping there.
Yeah.
I'm just the flavor of the month right now,
Yeah.
I think. You could also, if you want to support us, go ahead and check out our website, mostvaluablepodcast.com, where there's all of our content, articles, shows, everything's been tossed up there. And then finally, iTunes, the biggest and the best one. 5-star us. This show might not be up there yet, but all of our other shows, definitely support them, give them the love, give them that 5-star rating, and we appreciate it. We appreciate you for checking us out on this world premiere episode of Too Old to
Very
Game.
E3-esque of like,
It was.
hey, we got an announcement, and boom, you can get it now.
And it's nice
Yeah.
too. I like a little bit of symmetry here from the last time the three of us were all on a podcast, the Onside Kick, talking football. We started.
Jesus Christ,
right
that didn't even go into
around
my
the
head.
Super Bowl, the biggest moment of football season, and now we're starting right after E3, the biggest moment of the gaming industry. So
Absolutely.
it's fitting.
And just to kind of give you guys a little bit of background on us, I want to take us in and what are you guys playing lately? Like Mark, what are you up to these days?
I'm playing two different things right now, and it depends on what mattered. If I had my computer, if I got time, I'm playing Crusader Kings 2.
Crusader Kings 2.
Which is a game you can always play forever and ever and ever because it never ends.
Really?
I mean, it does end at some point.
Oh,
but,
okay. I was like, all right.
But then you just start over again.
Fair
it's
enough.
okay. So that's the thing. And then I've been playing this weird little game on my phone too lately because you got to have something on the phone.
You're
I feel.
a mobile gamer?
Especially
I got one too. If he brings one up, I've got one.
Especially now being a married man who can't just sit there and play Madden for 8 hours.
Thanks, you're the adult in the room now.
Yeah, right? You gotta have something on the phone. And I've been playing this game, Mini Metro, where you literally are making...
I've heard about that.
Yeah, you're making metro lines in really popular cities and hoping that you don't get overcrowded train stations.
The one mobile game that I've been playing recently, it's called Love Balls. And I know it sounds
Purely
weird.
off title, Ricky's going there.
Well, here's
Yeah.
what it is. So it's like they've got different levels, and you've got two balls, and your thought is one's blue, one's pink, boy, girl, and you got to get them to meet. And
Is it
it's like,
sponsored by KY Jelly?
No. But
I'd
basically,
ask.
it's
Not yet.
You've got
Yeah, there's an opportunity for
You've
it
got
to
to draw shapes and you've got to draw contraptions to try to get the two balls to kind of roll into each other and touch. And then you go on to the next level. It's fun.
So you're into that. What about console, PC? Are you into anything else right now?
Right now, I'm basically playing WoW.
Yeah, if
Like,
you heard our last Patreon,
it has consumed my life again. Like, not to the point where I'm still getting MVP stuff done.
yeah,
but
no, you are.
let's just put it this way. Me and you play Alliance. I was like, fuck it. When Dave's not on, I just have a Horde character. He's already at 30.
Not bad.
Like,
not
there's
bad.
just no, like... I got on the other day and I'm like, oh, he's at 25, and then 5 instances later, I'm like, holy shit, I'm at 30. Like,
Yeah, no, the
I
game-
am just going hardcore into WoW.
You're all
Yeah.
in. You're back.
I appreciate that because I was somebody who I had the itch. Like, I wanted to come back so bad, and I came back. It felt good.
The itch is there now, Dave.
The itch
now
is
it's
there.
got to get constantly
yeah,
scratched.
that's the problem with that game.
The rash has formed on my arm.
But I feel like at this age now, I'm much better at managing my time. I'm not doing that like your
don't
experience
just
when you first
dive
introduced,
in.
and you're like,
I didn't
haven't
shower
slept
for
in
3 days.
Yeah, like that didn't happen to me this time around. This time around, I feel good. I'm managing my time.
I'm actually like being an adult still.
Yeah.
Being too
You
old,
do
being
have
too old to game.
responsibilities.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, they are there. But
that's rough.
we are too old to game. I mean, we're all older gamers now.
True.
But you know what? We don't care. We're doing it anyways. We're still doing it, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna start off with E3 because obviously that is the news of the day. There was a ton of announcements, ton of games, ton of trailers, and a bunch of terribly awkward presentations by just everyone in a suit. It was fantastic. It was everything I'd hoped for, minus can I just start on a low note? I just want to rant
Sure.
for a second.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Command and Conquer. Like, what the hell did they do? I'm sorry, you and your mobile games, so you might be on a different perspective than me, but Command and Conquer was like my jam growing up. I played that game. I played Tiberian Sun so many hours, dropped tons of time into it, and now it's this cheeky little mobile game that makes me hate myself a little bit because I'm like, I want to play Command and Conquer, but that's not it.
You want a real, like,
I want a full-blown, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't personally have any attachment to the game.
Okay.
So with the mobile edition, I don't care. I got a different mobile game.
Okay, so no interest on the mobile front?
No, I mean, I'm going to care about Elder Scrolls Blades. That's what I'm going to care about when it comes to the mobile games. That I'm looking forward to. Now, it could be awful. Who knows?
Yeah,
but
it's got
I'm
Elder
looking forward
Scrolls
to
name
trying
on there,
it. Yeah.
so...
I'm going to try it, and I can play it like this, which is fantastic. You can play it in portrait instead of having to play everything in landscape, which is very, very important when, you know, I don't know, you're brushing your teeth, but you still want to play something on your phone.
You might have an addiction at that point.
Yeah. Well, you got to do something.
I mean, you go for the classic. Ricky almost bought a Switch purely for the fact that he wants to play on the toilet.
Well,
Like,
it wasn't just that. It's I knew ever since the what was it called? It was like the Nintendo Direct showcase they had. When we had that first Super Smash Bros. Trailer, I'm like, well, guess I'm buying a Switch. I didn't need one until that point.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what? I need a Switch. I'm going to buy one. And after E3, it's like when they're like, every single fighter ever, I'm like, you really want, like, you don't have to sell me this any more than you're doing, but it's working, and I'm going to get a Switch. It's just when that game comes out is when I'll buy it.
I mean, to be fair,
Makes
like,
sense.
we're calling in everybody. It was a pretty sweet opening line for it. And then the reveal with Mario getting yanked off the stage and Mega Man getting stabbed through the heart. I mean, I'm sorry, like, they're adding
well, not
in,
just that, you get Riley from
that's the character.
Samus,
Thank you. Names. I'm off with, so you're going to have to keep doing that for me.
He gets yanked off, Mega Man gets stabbed, and then Samus just turns around. And even she gets blown up, and it's like, all right, now I'm just normal Samus out of my suit. It's like, it's
Riley's
like, oh my
just
God.
huge character-wise.
It's like you're trying.
Isn't it Ridley?
Ridley. I'm sorry, Riley.
Ridley.
I'm going to get killed for that. It is.
But it's
that's
that's the one game NES that I didn't get into until after Super Smash
Samus?
was Metro Prime. Like the whole Metroid series as a kid didn't appease me. I was more Super Mario.
It's a good platformer.
Sonic was my huge one.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. But, I mean, Super Smash Bros., everybody's coming back. They reworked the combat a little bit. It looks a little bit smoother, a little bit sexier.
I mean, I like that they had this video that was like, you know,
they actually like
when
listen to
you
complaints.
are attacking multiple times, this is how it's different. When you're blocking, you have this, this permanent shield for that split second when you come out of your shield.
Yeah.
You know, they showed all these things where you're like, okay, this is cool. Now, I know with Nintendo, when we're talking about the specific conferences, and I'm sure later on we'll talk about, you know, maybe not a full ranking of conferences, but what everyone's favorite and least favorite.
If you want
we can get that.
We could. I did mine, so, you know,
I'm
prepared.
Just saying.
But, like, with Nintendo, a lot of people were saying the thing about Nintendo's conference was they really, really focused on Smash Bros.
Yeah.
And then didn't really give much else.
Well, it was Smash Bros. And then, hey, look, you can play Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Fortnite announcement was pretty big.
They certainly had quite a few different things going on. But, like, I just kind of think about it, and when I'm looking at Nintendo, I think that they went on a good approach for what Sony did as well, which was just we're going to focus on something we know you want to know a lot about.
Yeah.
Because especially for Nintendo, with their own Nintendo Directs now, you know, sure, they talked about Xenoblade, they talked about Pokemon, they talked about Super Mario Party, which I love. Fire Emblem, which looked awesome. And for one, the awkward thing about a lot of those type of games, tactics, Fire Emblem, stuff like that, is you'll have one guy moving around this grid fighting one other guy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like this big map, and we're in this huge war if you're in Fire Emblem half the time, or, you know, the original Tactics for Final Fantasy. It's just weird. But at least with this, they're showing like, oh, hey, now you're moving in a group. You know, now there's some other people in the background, even if it's just character stuff. But a lot of people were kind of upset about that there wasn't more. They wanted more.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, but really, don't you care a lot about Smash Bros? Like, the majority of the people care about Smash Bros. And there are Nintendo Directs out there. And you can have things just release on random days and the video goes viral. So really, I had no problem with Nintendo focusing on so much Smash Bros. Content because that's going to sell consoles. You know, like to Ricky, who hasn't bought one.
Yeah.
I mean, when I bought my Wii U, I bought it because Mario Kart was coming out, and I was going to play Mario Kart.
Yeah,
So that's the thing that sold it to me.
The thing I completely forgot about is they also had that, Super Mario Party announcement as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's like,
October 5th.
okay,
Party.
there's that as well. And
Yeah.
the thing that I liked is, like, if you have a Switch and I have a Switch, there's this one mini game. It's like, oh, let's put them in this figuration or that one. All right, swipe to link them. And then it's like, all right, we've got this battle game, and the one was tanks. And it's like, all right, we set it up with, like, this one little passage between the two devices to kind of make the map on the table.
And that's what I love about Nintendo. Like, when everybody else zigs, they zag. Like, they do their own thing, and they're so successful at driving away from like the cleared path, because if they do, what everybody else does, there's nothing that sets them apart. There's nothing that makes them special. They know that they have awesome content on their own that they control.
Yeah.
And they know exactly, like, capability-wise with the Switch, all the stuff they're coming out, all these cool little features that you can do with it. Totally different. And Mark, I love that you brought up, like, the Nintendo Direct. And that's where I have the question, like, Ricky, do you think there's anything, like, that you're now waiting for in the next Nintendo Direct? Because did you not get anything you wanted from Nintendo?
Not
out of this?
really. Like, this to me, people can say, like, oh, well, all they did was harp on Super Smash Bros. For this. It's all they needed to do. Like, they didn't need to give me anything else, because we already knew kind of what was coming from Nintendo a little bit. Yeah, there's always surprises each and every year, but it was, you know what? We're going to go full on into it. And two of the things that I liked was the thing that they showed where it's like, okay, if it's just Mark and I playing Smash Bros, damage will be acquired differently than if all three of us are playing. So it's like all three of us are playing, the damage will be increased to have it be more fast-paced, and it won't feel like, oh my god, this is going on forever.
You always get that if you're the first person knocked out in a Smash Bros. Game, and you're like, all right, now I got to sit here for X amount of time to just do nothing.
And then also the character of Pokemon Trainer being back. It used to be like, all right, I want to use Bulbasaur, I want to use this one, and it's, I got to keep constantly switch them because they get fatigued. Now it's like, no, just use your favorite one. You want to use Squirtle? Use Squirtle. He won't get fatigued. If you want to use Charizard, go ahead and use it.
Yeah.
Thank you, because I just want to use Charizard. I don't care about Squirtle because he doesn't have the sunglasses. The only Squirtle that matters is the Squirtle Squad.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I get you on that. But I mean, there's so many little things for Ultimate here. But the thing that they did with Nintendo too is they did show other stuff. Just a compilation of games like Dragon Ball FighterZ, Crash Bandicoot, Dark Souls, Monster Hunter, Wolfenstein 2, Mega Man 11. They had a lot of other stuff that they showed very briefly, and I think that's okay. I mean, I think that a lot of people are like, I'm here, I'm watching this, I want you to show me everything I could possibly care about.
Yeah.
But there's just not time.
So,
I mean, you got to do something like that.
I want to ask you guys something, because you brought up Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And the one trailer from E3 that I saw that I'm like, holy crap, I need to play this game. What did you guys think of Jump Force? With the trailer where it was basically, we had Goku in it, you've got Naruto in it, they've got, I think it's Luffy from One Piece in it, you had Frieza. I was looking at this going, first off, what kind of a game is this going to be? Like, because we didn't get gameplay. It was a cinematic trailer.
It's going to be a fighter.
Is it a fighter like Dragon Ball Fighters or Fighter Z, however you want to pronounce it? Or, because I'm like, this is what I need. I didn't know I needed this, but apparently I needed this in my life. And then at the end, they're like, oh, there's Death Note too.
Yep, just to spice things up a little bit. I think it's going to be a pretty standard fighter. They've had decent success with like stuff like this, but it's just basically, here's all of like the Shonen Jump kind of stuff that we can all staple together. Here's Dragon Ball Z we can add on top of that. It's just building in all these very familiar household names to kids these days.
Yeah.
And just being like, you want to fight? See who wins versus this guy versus that guy?
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of cool if I feel like if you're probably younger and you have a group of friends and you get together and play games together and stuff like that. I don't know. Do people still do that?
Yeah, I feel like some kids do.
It's all online now.
Yeah.
Your friend who's next door, but you're playing online anyways. Yeah, sure, you can get some stuff that's like that. I've never been a fighting game person, with Super Smash Bros. Being the one exception because it's Nintendo, and it's a lot of fun characters that you care about. I've never really cared much about fighting games, but you get those cool crossovers when it's Mortal Kombat versus I don't know, Street Fighter or something like that. Like, you get those cool crossovers and people care about that. I mean, that's basically what this is to me. It looks like it's just the crossover event. I mean, they're inspired by the Avengers, and everything with that with crossovers. So they're just like, yeah, let's go for it.
I mean, like, Marvel vs. Capcom's been a pretty successful series run.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they can jump right on that boat, try to steal some love from there.
Or like how DC went with their Injustice.
Oh, yeah, Injustices,
and did the
yep.
whole,
Yeah.
But also they had like DC versus Mortal Kombat and stuff too.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm okay. I like the Nintendo thing. I liked what they did. I wish I could have seen like 2 other things though, and I'm sure they'll probably be coming down the line later. Like, first off is Animal Crossing, because that's a game
it's been a long time since we've had some
everybody
Animal Crossing.
loved.
They've got the mobile game though. I know
it's
we
not that
talked
great.
about mobile, but
It's really not that great.
they do have the
I'm
mobile
just saying
game
the Switch would be a
for it.
great home for it. Switch would be a great home for that game. And I'm sure I'm hoping that one will be at another Nintendo Direct down the line. The other one that I keep seeing a lot of people asking for is Pikmin, which is interesting because I didn't love that series.
I didn't either.
Like,
It's fine. I enjoy it, but it's not. I'm not in love with it.
fair enough.
And it's been a long time since we've had a Pikmin. I think Pikmin 3 might have been a release with Wii U game. And I have it. I've played it a little bit, but not, like I said, I'm not in love with the series, so I don't play it a ton. But I mean, it is one of those ones where you're like, hey, yeah, it has been a while since Nintendo's
well, that's
done
the thing.
something
Like,
with
you
that.
start looking back, and like people were talking about like Star Fox having its own, and then we saw the crossover that happened.
But then don't you sit there and you're like, yeah, okay, we get this crossover, but can I get an actual game?
Well,
too?
that's the thing. Like, do you think that sets it up for the like, oh, let's draw some intrigue back into
could
Star
be.
Fox and get all the people who are going nostalgia driven at it, and like, yeah, I could go for that. I go for a standalone Star Fox.
It might. Like, I'll be honest, I was watching Ubisoft, and it's like Starlink, and I'm like, all right, like, I've never heard of this game.
Yeah.
Probably not going to get this game. Then they're like, oh, wait. We've got one more thing for you. And it's like, oh my God, we're in trouble. And I just saw the Star Fox logo, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta get this game.
But did we mention we have Star Fox?
I'm like, crap. And then they're like, only on the Switch. I'm like, well, good thing Super Smash Bros. Is coming out, because I'm getting a
Buying
Switch
the Switch.
anyways.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think as a whole, like, Nintendo did a solid job. They went with the heavy focus going after Super Smash Bros. Because it's the party game. It's what everybody goes to. It's all age groups. It's anybody.
Yep.
It's easily to draw on fans. For me, I want to jump over because Sony was the one for me that was like visually super appealing. Ghost of Tunisia.
It just had a nice pace too, where it's just like, that's what I want from an E3. I don't want
back to back to back to back.
The thing I was worried was when they had the one guy come out at the beginning. I'm like, crap. I don't want to see a guy in a suit make bad jokes. Just give me the game. And it's like, after they showed The Last of Us,
I give him a little bit of credit with his jokes. His jokes were actually decent.
Some of them were, but
a lot of them are awkward, but he actually did decent.
But there were like, if we get that from more people, there would be one of them where it's like, dude, none of your jokes are hitting, just stop. But the only thing I hated about their conference was, I got what they were trying to do with the whole like, ooh, we're going to set you in this nice like church setting, and oh my God, that's the same setting we're in for the Last of Us trailer. But it just seemed like there was a disconnect of like, all right, now we're going to go to the main desk for our pre-show show while everyone moves into the main. It's like, dude, you just could have had us all in the main setting.
But the
had
ambiance.
had the pre-show
here's the
and then did your actual conference.
I am all good with what they did. I just don't think the intermission was what it should have been.
Because it was much longer than it needed to.
Yeah.
Doing the setup and doing it in the church, the whatever, looked awesome. And when it made that connection, I did have a, shit, that's why they did it in there.
Yeah.
This is really cool. And I'm all in on that. And having the music being played for The Last of Us was great. It was awesome. And as soon as they say, they introduce him out there, I'm like, now I'm putting it together. Now it's The Last of Us. They're going to open with The Last of Us Part 2, which is awesome. Didn't expect it. You'd expect them to close with that. And it worked. What I really would have wanted, instead of this, let's just talk for a while, and then we showed a couple trailers.
Yeah.
Show it right
Just
away.
show me a few trailers,
Get me
and I'm
going.
good. I don't need, I'm okay with a little bit of the conversation is fine, but it was weird because it was like, it felt like the conference was over, and then the conference started again.
Yeah, I do agree. It messed with the pacing, but to be fair, like, Mark, I know you're a big Last of Us fan. Like,
Oh, yeah.
You had how quick did you just like 0 to 100 on that.
For the trailer that they played, I was all in. I mean, I knew that I was gonna get it at some point, but like I said, I'm expecting at the end. They go straight in, and I'm like, fuck yes, this is the best.
Well, the thought that I had was I'm watching it, and I'm like, Mark and I need to play. Like, Mark and I need to play this for the channel. We need to do a Let's Play for this. Because, like,
The Last of Us.
I'm watching it, and the best thing I like about it is, like I told you guys before we recorded, it's, all right, we've got this nice warm setting. There's some jokes being had because the one guy was dating the one girl, and it's like, oh, I'll give you 2 weeks before you're back together. I can tell you're really into him. No, I'll give you 1. And then it's just like, and here's the real world. And it's like, oh, crap, I forgot that this is how desolate this place is and how evil the other people you don't know are in this game.
And I wonder, and I was looking, and I couldn't tell, but, maybe I just need to watch it more. But I was wondering, like, when we saw a guy hanging, when we saw somebody getting interrogated and then they got, disemboweled, were those same people that were in that room with her? That's what I was looking for, and I couldn't tell.
Or is this
a completely different time?
Because think back, one of the first trailers we did see the same thing of like someone hanging and get disemboweled. And that's where one of the things I love is that first trailer we got like months ago.
Yeah.
People are like, oh my God, this game's too violent. Da, da, da. And you're like, are they going to back down? Nope, didn't back down at all.
No,
like,
Last of Us.
They keep the dark and gritty.
The thing I loved was she had the axe. I'm going to hit this chick in the neck with the axe, pull it out, then take the hammer, side the temple, and leave the hammer in your temple. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing, and I need it now. I need it now.
We don't get it now.
I know.
No, you don't know when you're going to get it.
It's just like, I'm like, Fry, take my moment.
I sit there and I'm like, and the original Last of Us was delayed. And they're maybe
Are you
they're
thinking
being
this is going to get delayed?
Well, we don't have a release date.
But do you think it will? Like,
depends. I mean, that's what I was going to say. Are they
like
doing
the whole
an
joke
approach?
of like when I mentioned to you, oh, I can't wait for Kingdom Hearts. Oh,
Yeah, it's
January
gonna get
29th, and Mark like February.
that's just getting delayed. But it's that thing where are they being more strategic of we're just not going to say a release date until we're like we know it can come out in 3 months. We'll say it now because they don't need to build up that much hype. The hype's already there. But I think they will eventually say something. What I really thought with them not having a release date still is this game is a long way from being ready. It is not ready
That's what
yet.
I was thinking. Is I'm seeing this game. It looks beautiful, and the what they showed us was definitely appealing. Because I could be like, oh yeah, I could get this real quick. But at the same time, like you said, as far as timelines go, like if you're not even gonna bother mentioning something, it's 2019. Okay, so now we're expecting sometime mid 2019. Are we gonna get like another can we get a back-to-back E3, or do you think it's going to be before?
I was just going to ask the same thing. Do you think next E3 is it that far out where next E3 is the release date?
We might get a release date next year's E3. I'm expecting this to be a 2020 game.
Okay.
Oh wow.
But
still
like
current
January,
gen console?
February. I don't think we're that close to. I don't think we're as close to next gen as people want to say we are. I think people are just.
people are excited to be next gen. That's the thing.
Excited and scared because the whole thing is people keep saying, oh, I'm gonna have to buy another new console, and I just bought my Xbone, or I just bought my PS4
Plus,
2 years ago or whatever. And now I'm already having to buy something new.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, what's new and shiny, and how much have we progressed technologically?
Oh, for sure.
So I mean, that's what. I like some of these trailers look beautiful, and I'm like, that's not real gameplay.
But they always do. Yeah, they always do.
Like, this is gonna look like terrible, like square blocks, like.
Yeah.
Like original Virtual Fighter on my 32 graphics.
I hope it's not that bad. I hope it's not.
It'll be a step up from
blocks.
that. But you know what it is. I mean, that's the concern for me. But I think we'll see it next year. I think I am hoping we see it late next year.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be one of those situations where it will be at E3 again. We'll get the release date there. But honestly, like when it comes to games like that, do you think that they're doing the right thing? Because I've seen too many games come up, like you said, where they come up to the deadline like, and we're pushing back. Yeah. And we're pushing back again. Like, I don't want to get my hopes up for it. I don't want to be like disappointed. And then, or them having released a game that's just not ready yet.
Yeah.
The latter is what I fear the most. I'd rather have you get my hype up for Kingdom Hearts, let's say January 29th,
People have been waiting 20 years,
exactly.
At this point.
But it's like,
what's another month?
if you give me a date, even if you have to push it back a month,
As long as it's ready when
I'd
you get
rather
it.
you push it back and have it be ready than, well, we're going to put it out because we said we're going to put it out, and me go, wow, you should have taken the extra month.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's kind of a concern for people, too, a lot of times. I mean, we have this big alpha and beta issue in gaming. People need the money now, so they release it kind of unfinished. And don't worry, we're going to finish it as we go.
Yeah, you can play the free beta.
Yeah. Or you pay for the beta.
Yeah. The early access gimmicks. I hate that.
Okay, so I want to talk about The Last of Us a little bit more, part 2, because it's important. And even though we are, like we've talked about already, probably
we are now
a year and a half
entering
away.
Like on a graphic conversation, the spoiler zone. No, this is the zombie zone we're heading.
Yeah,
into.
okay. Yeah, and because we got more stuff coming up. Death Stranding. It's not zombies, but it's weird. Resident Evil 2 coming up. But anyways, to talk about The Last of Us Part 2, the one thing I will say so far is there's two main questions right now with this. One is about Joel. And where he is, is he alive? What's going on there?
Is he dead?
They did kind of.
We're not going there.
I mean,
are we?
they did kind of reference her dad a little bit, like jokingly in the barn church,
Is that just
whatever it was.
Joel? Because technically, like, oh, he's just my
I
dad.
think people would assume that. I mean, it could be very much like the Telltales of The Walking Dead when they're like, "Why do you have this girl with you?" Oh, she's my daughter. Okay. You know, and just accepting that, even though it's not real. Now, so that's a big question, and part of me was in this big fight scene when she's getting totally, I mean, she's being a badass, but she's totally outnumbered, and she's totally gonna get killed, you feel like, while this is happening. I'm like, all right, is Joel gonna show up at one of these points? Like, he shoots somebody with an arrow, he snipes somebody, and he saves her right when she's gonna die. But what I really, really wanted to happen was she's backed into a corner.
Yeah.
She's out of ammo. Nothing is here. Because, it's gameplay, but it's very cinematic gameplay that they, made very strategically staged.
It's someone who, and this is the thing, like, whether it's the Spider-Man gameplay, whether it's The Last of Us, I'm sitting there going, all right, when I'm playing, like, even the Tomb Raider gameplay, I'm sitting there thinking, all right, it's not going to be that crisp for me. I'm going to be fumbling around and like, oh, where to go? Where do I go here? They develop the game. They know where to go.
And they were, they can record a million times over their pre-recorded gameplay. But anyways, I'm expecting her to get into this corner, and then the clickers show up. And they just, either it's just you hear the sound and they freak out, cut, and that's just it. The Last of Us Part 2 shows up, and hopefully a release date that we didn't get. Or, they show up and they just start messing people up, and Ellie escapes. Because in all this hype so far, we have not seen any of the infected yet.
No.
We have not seen any.
And that's why, and I know you're all like, no, there needs to be clickers. And the thing I'm starting to kind of question is in this game, the first one was us against the clickers.
Yeah.
Will this one now be us against, like, actual people? Where it's like, yeah, there's clickers there. Like, you'll have them as enemies, but it's not so like, oh my God, what are these? It is, they are just here. We are now focused on this group, and it's more person to person.
Yeah.
You feel like the Walking Dead transition from like you're so worried about the enemy,
zombie.
but then the interaction with people.
It's like
classic,
it's like the Negan season of I'm worried more about you than I am.
I mean, it's the classic post-apocalyptic. You shouldn't be concerned about the zombies, the infected, the whatever. You should be concerned about the people. The people are always the dangerous thing. It's always what happens in these type of stories. And they had that. I forgot what city it was because it's been a while since I played The Last of Us, where you get there and all of a sudden you're against people now instead of these infected. But the interesting thing in my eyes is going to be that story because they call her the lion. Or the wolf. I'm sorry, they call her the wolf. Yeah. I'm getting my Game of Thrones
She's a
things
lone
mixed
wolf.
up. Which is possible. And at one point they have this thing where it was like, she will guide you or something. This mural. I don't remember exactly what it said.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm assuming that's Ellie. Because she was this girl who got bitten, who got infected, who didn't die, and she survives, and she probably destroyed the Fireflies. I'm assuming this group is not Fireflies. This is something else now that are, going after her. People are probably worshiping her in a way. And this other side is, no, she's evil, whatever. I don't know what it's going to be yet. But still a core part of this game's got to be these infected things. And the interesting thing that I think to think about is, so this original game, it takes place some amount of years after the first outbreak. The main thing where, Joel's daughter dies. And there's a spoiler alert. So
if you haven't played Last of Us 1, should go do that.
It happens very early in the game, too.
Yeah. Then you go for about a year. You play for about a year. And we're now skipping forward maybe somewhere between 8 to 10, 8 to 12 years. I can't really tell. She's in her mid-20s, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So we're skipping forward quite a bit because I think she was 13 or 14 in the first game. So we're skipping forward quite a bit. The thing about the infected in The Last of Us is everybody starts as that original infected. It's just a person. It will run at you. It will see you. It will respond. It will attack you like a normal person-ish will do. Then, eventually, because of the cordyceps virus, it, blows out of their head. Insert sound effect there, Ricky. It blows out of their head, and that's why they can't see anymore.
Like cauliflower-esque.
Yeah, in a way. You look at the pictures of those ants that go up on hills and then it explodes out of their heads, that sprouts out of their heads because it's a fungus. That's a time thing. And you get the clickers, you get bloaters, you get all that stuff. Because it's a time thing and less people are alive, meaning less and less infected people exist.
So once you kill the infected...
But those infected people, inevitably, given enough time, will become clickers or a bloater. They will become one of those two things. So, since this is probably 20 years past the original
Have we just killed off all of the infected enough to where it's
No, that's not what I'm trying to say. But in this gameplay, there should not be very many infected left. It should only be clickers and bloaters left because it's so much time has passed that there's very few humans to become infected in the first stage. Everyone should be stage 2 and 3 at this point.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So that's going to be an interesting thing to see because it's a very different kind of...
Oh, it's a totally different dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. It's different of what's left. And you're kind of right that there probably is more just people that we're fighting too in this game.
Well, I'm not saying that. Just if we're going... Yeah, you said not 20 years, 10 years
since
down
the original
line.
infection.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those is there's no all right, we had this ground zero. After a while, it's all right, there's not a ton of people that bite and get reinfected. We're killing infected. Eventually, you're hoping that maybe we're down to the small population where it's they don't even matter to us anymore.
And I don't even, and I'm pretty sure with The Last of Us, it's you can breathe in the virus is the big thing because that's the explosion out. They explode out the whatever, and you breathe it in. So I mean, there's definitely less people to get infected. So it should just be a shit ton of the terrible ones that will one hit kill you in the game.
But on the other hand, the people who are left are clearly survivors who have survived years and years and years of this. So you got to imagine the people that you could come in contact with. And this is one of the things I liked about
ruthless.
Hashtag ruthless. But I like the fact that it seemed like the AO is kind of really high in this. And I know it was a highly polished demo, but still, it was oh shit, this looks like legitimate.
The legit survivors who are left, and the fact too that. It's interesting, that balance, too, because they can go a very bad direction with it if it goes into the classic, and I like in Uncharted games, but the classic, all right, I'm going into this vault that no one has ever been in before, these ruins. I opened this door that I had to vault over stuff and solve a puzzle to get into, and there's 10 guys with shotguns waiting for me on the other side. How the hell did that happen? They can go a bad direction with this if it just feels like there are tons and tons of humans, because then, aren't we in the post-apocalyptic world? There shouldn't be that many of you left.
Yeah.
If anything, there should be less humans, more infected at this point. So I don't know. It's just very interesting to see. We have so much.
They got a lot of directions they can take, and you said, we've only seen such little bit of this game that it's just there's a ton of possibilities out there.
And to anybody who said during the DLC, the Valentine's DLC that they had for The Last of Us, focusing on Ellie, that no, she's not a lesbian. She's just having a nice moment with her friend. No, she's a lesbian.
Yeah,
now. It's confirmed. She's a lesbian.
They
We know it
completely
for
went
sure.
that direction.
I mean,
Like,
she
that
could
was
be
like,
bisexual,
dude.
sure, but
Yeah.
no, she's a lesbian.
All
now
right.
we know for sure.
All right, fair enough. And
For me, I'm thinking I don't know if I'm stepping on your toes with The Last of Us.
yeah,
Don't mess with me, man.
Ever since you brought up Sony, one of the games, like, I didn't expect to like this game as much as I did, or be intrigued. I guess the phrase I should say is intrigued by it, is Death Stranding.
Another game we still also don't know much about.
We don't know anything about. Like,
Yeah.
I still don't know anything about it. And I watched whatever
it's,
they
it's
had.
a man walking and carrying things,
He's,
right?
he's delivering stuff. He's a delivery guy.
He carries stuff.
There
There's
was-
spooky ghosts. Like, I don't know what else.
And he's got a baby strapped to his chest.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
basically like me,
what-
the buddy
what part
cop
of
with me and the baby.
What part of that gameplay didn't you get? Like, it's a clear arc in my mind.
It just, to me,
It
that
makes sense.
feels like a game where it's like, this is going to be very story driven.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to have horror aspects to, like, the thing that was giving me like the anxiety and like, oh my God, what are you going to do, is when he clips the thing, the baby forms, or
Yeah.
like the black goes away and the baby's there, and it's like him with the light, and you actually see like the shadowed figures.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, I could just imagine trying to like walk your
Sneak
way
through
through
this,
that
yeah.
Yep.
while these things are just like floating past you.
No, I absolutely love it. I think it could be honestly something special because they have an opportunity to take it away from the action, to make it really, like you said, a story-driven game. And, hey, I mean, first off, you have to just love the fact they just
It's
literally
Norman
cast
Reedus.
Norman Reedus
Yeah.
for this role. Like, that's fantastic. But also, the visuals are good, and the way they're portraying, like, the maybe enemy in this game is really intriguing because you don't actually come in direct contact. The whole, like, he's sitting in the cave, and you're
And
watching
then you
his
just
footsteps.
see the handprints. And
You're
they don't even
seeing
look like
that.
feet. They just
Yeah.
look like hands.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
And is that even the same
That's the
thing
thing.
that we saw with the shadows? Those might be two
Are they-
completely different things.
And that's exactly where I went to. I went,
Yeah.
oh, so the ghosts are one thing. This creepy ass creature is another. Like, we're dealing
Yeah.
with multiple levels of bads now. So you've got this like flashlight that appears to let him see the ghosts, but he has to navigate his way through to somewhere.
Yeah.
To deliver
Yeah.
a baby to someone for some reason. Like, what makes the baby special?
well,
Or just the crates in general, because he's got like
Yeah.
these crates and then these crates.
He had the backpack full of backpack.
Well, he had at one point a body
Yep.
on his back. But it seems like what the internet is thinking is the idea is the fact that these things will age him to a point where he would be dead. And therefore, this baby, people are thinking it's a clone of him. It's the failsafe of you'll get aged to where you're dead. This thing will get aged to where you are. So you can it's your continue. Because they said something
Interesting.
about how, like, you'll be able to return, but
Yeah.
you know, things will be completely destroyed or whatever. I love it because I love Kojima.
Yes.
And I love Metal Gear Solid,
my God,
that
yeah.
franchise. I like that, you know, even though I think people overreacted to the whole PT thing, but with that demo that they had, I love that they had this combination, this creative combination to do this. Norman Reedus was supposed to be involved with that, got canceled. They say, okay, now we're doing this other thing with Norman Reedus again, the same creative group that's going to make it happen. It's Kojima, so it's going to be weird as hell. It's going to be a great story. It's probably going to have hours of cutscenes because it's the way it goes.
I'm down for it.
But yeah, it looks super cool. I mean, it's just one of those things where, yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, right now it's so
I don't know
early
anything
on.
about it yet.
That's the thing. It's so early on, and that's my hype is here now, and I'm worried that like if I see if I hear a release date before like maybe a February of next year, like am I gonna have the same hype for this game? And that's one of those
I
things where like
think
some
it'll-
games you need to heavily market because there's so little about it. There's so little
It'll be something where, because this was something that they announced it 2 years ago at 2016
Right.
E3.
but there's
And
it was a name at that
I
point.
completely
Yeah.
forgot about it. And I think it'll be that again, where right now I'm really into it.
Yeah.
It's going to dive down after E3 goes away. Next thing I see, it'll just shoot right back up.
Yeah.
And this was another one where how far are they further away from this one than we are from The Last of Us? Because yet again, no oh, it's dropping here.
No.
Yeah.
It's just like hey, we told you this is coming. You kind of knew about it. This is what it looks like.
Yeah. And you had, I mean, they were working on a game that got canceled, and then Kojima goes to create his own production studio so they can work on a new game.
Yeah.
You know, so they definitely had a lot of work to do on this.
Well, and the thing, I want to get into rant territory.
Yeah.
Because, Dave, you started the podcast off with something like you weren't happy with.
Yep.
This is a greater E3 thing, but I'm narrowing it into the Sony part because after Microsoft didn't have it, I expected Sony to have it. The only thing I am upset with from this E3, where the hell's Rocksteady? Where the hell is Rocksteady with their... I was expecting a Superman game. That's what I was expecting.
You never go into
either
E3 with that type of
either a
expectation.
Superman game or just this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I was very upset that I got nothing from Rocksteady.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Say
of like,
boo-hoo,
this
like,
is what it
I don't-
is. And I get that, you shouldn't go in thinking that. But I went in, this is how Ricky is.
I'd not heard
I
anything
went
about them being there. I'd not heard anything about that game being even close.
It wasn't like the whole thing coming in was and I get the source that I'm about to say isn't the most reliable. The thing coming in was there was it was a 4chan post of like, this is what the logo kind of looks like. And already you're kind of like, all right, this kind of looks like a real shitty logo kind of. It's like you're mixing old Superman with new Superman. But it seemed like I was more hopeful of like, please give me something. And Microsoft at first, I'm like, okay, they could do Microsoft because maybe Rocksteady wants to be like, oh, we've had our relationship with Sony,
right?
But we want to
open it up.
We want to go cross-platform.
Let's make some more money.
But then Microsoft didn't have it, so I'm like, Sony's got to. They have that partnership, and I was just let down, is the word I will say, that I didn't get a Superman or Rocksteady announcement because apparently the rumors are it's a Superman game, although it could choose not to be a Superman game.
They can do
it could all
they
be
want,
wrong.
yeah.
That's the one thing off my soapbox that I was upset from this E3.
Fair enough. I mean, I did not hope for a Superman game because the last Superman game was so god awful that I never want to play a Superman game again in my life.
That's fair.
But that's just me. Honestly, like I thought the one game that I loved out of this section was Ghost of Tsushima. I know I'm pronouncing the name wrong, but like visually beautiful. Like this game was stunning. I thought that outside of that, the prospects of having a game where it was like very much one-on-one kind of combat-esque at times, but also like it brought it to a different time. I know there's another same era game from Microsoft. We'll get to that one later. But like I just was blown away visually by this. I don't know how amazing the gameplay is going to be, but it's worth a watch for me.
The thing with those games to me, and it's the same thing with your Superman one, same thing with Spider-Man and all that stuff, those games to me all play the same in the sense that I describe those games perfectly in this. There's a big group of enemies in front of you, and you're going to fight them one at a time by just mashing the buttons. Because that's really what you kind of do in these games. There's combos and there's stuff like that. There's tricks to it, obviously. Yeah. But Sucker Punch does it, of course. That's what Ghost. That's also what Infamous before. So they do it. You'll get it out of Rocksteady. They do it for sure all the time.
You told me that you thought that the Ghost
I
game
thought this could
was
be
the Rocksteady game.
Because I had not heard of this game beforehand, so I'm like, oh, this would be a really cool surprise if Rocksteady was like, yeah, you thought we were doing Superman? Nope, we're doing Samurais. And that would have been super cool. And then once they said it was Sucker Punch, I'm like, oh, of course, that makes perfect sense. I mean, that's first party for Sony.
Yep,
it works. It looks cool, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna look like what most of those games are going to look like to me.
Yeah, so you're a little afraid of the gameplay. Fair enough. And you mentioned Spider-Man here,
my
and
God.
I know there's some feelings about this because again, another visually stunning game.
Yeah, it looks great.
Swinging through the city.
I was hyped.
Let's just be honest. Like all we want in a Spider-Man game is a game where we can do that. I just want to go web sling through a city and have the time of my life. Like that's it.
And the thing I love most about it is the game I mentioned to you guys before we recorded, like when I was watching the gameplay from it and the actual combat. It looked very much like the Sam Raimi game that we got. I had it on Xbox back then. And my first thought was, all right, is it a good thing because both games are authentic to who Spider-Man is and how he would fight?
Yeah.
Or I'm like, is this a bad thing because it's like, oh my God, it reminds me of a game from like the early 2000s. So there was that. But the other thing I really like is in that Spider-Man game, sling, sling, sling. It's just webs to the heavens.
Yeah.
And what am I attaching to?
It doesn't matter.
In this one, as he was going through, you had the little indicators of like, okay, I got to get my web on that. Got to get it on that. The little parkour thing of like, I'm going to like crawl through this.
He did literally run up the side of the building for a couple of seconds, which I was like,
he does.
momentum.
He does have the.
I know.
Not just the like adhesive, but he does have a little bit of super strength as well.
Oh no, I know. It was just one of those things where I was like, okay, now we're really pushing it. This game looks like I love the mobility because that's one of the things like Spider-Man combat, and I know we want to compare this to Arkham because
it's the same thing.
It's the clear comparison, and it's obvious. Mark, you brought up before the show that it looks like it will play the same way.
Yeah, you're just essentially instead of being Batman this time, you got the DLC to where you can wear Spider-Man's outfit now
instead of gliding around, you're web swinging around.
Exactly. I mean, they still had the things where you would glide. You'd be like, oh, I can reach that gargoyle with my
grappling hook.
Yeah, grappling hook. Now it's just a web slinging, instead. But I mean, it'll certainly be fun. I'm sure it's certainly gonna be a good game.
The villains, though, I love that. Like, I should have assumed they were gonna go Sinister Six at some point in this, but
I mean, there is a movie.
Shocker looked great, and especially like the actor that they got to play him. Yeah, I thought spot on for like a shot, especially when it was like, "How do you like my new suit?" And I'm thinking, Doc Ock is coming. I'm like, Doc Ock made that suit for him. That's what he's got. And then like the Rhino looked great. The best one I liked was Scorpion.
Yeah,
with
Scorpion
like his red visor, and when he stabbed Spider-Man, it's like, oh, you felt like the like he got paralyzed. Yeah. The only thing for me, who was it at the end? I think it's Doc Ock. I think that's who, like Doc Ock climbing up the side because. If they were going Sinister Six, I'm assuming Doc Ock is going to be leading it, although we do know that Kingpin is going to be a villain in this game also.
Right, and that's the nice thing about this game is I could see it dropping with the initial villains and then adding and adding. Like it's a
DLC
game that
side stories.
Hell yeah, this is a game that I think honestly has a ton of potential because people have been asking for this kind of game for Spider-Man for a long time for a good version of Spider-Man.
Well, the thing is too with this one, are we going to get Miles Morales? Because in the first trailer they did where it was like the warehouse setting, in that like you see a African-American kid that looks like Miles kind of look up. It's like, that's Miles Morales. Like him and Peter are in the same universe. Are we going to get to play as Miles? Is that going to be a DLC thing?
Baby.
Well, you could
Is he
have
just
a little
in the
bit
story?
of like, in I think it was Arkham City, where like you get to play as
Robin,
as Catwoman at one point. Where it might just be a split story in a sense that way, which would be cool. I think Miles definitely deserves to have a chance to be in it, for sure. But like the one thing I will say with I'm assuming Peter Parker here, is the one who we were just seeing. The lines didn't feel good enough Spider-Man to me.
I didn't have a problem with it.
Wasn't witty enough?
It wasn't witty enough. It wasn't funny enough. And I'm like, I feel like we're almost there, but we haven't gotten to real Spider-Man yet.
Yeah, honestly, like
is it because you're thinking more of is Tom Holland the guy in the back of your head? Because he didn't sound like a Tom Holland Spider-Man at all.
Or Andrew Garfield. Because I like Garfield
actually.
I liked him.
To be honest, the Spider-Man that I always think will always be my Spider-Man, it's kind of like Kevin Conroy. No, it's kind of like Kevin Conroy as it will always be my Batman. 90s cartoon series, that's my Spider-Man voice.
I mean, sure. I'm not worried about the specific voice. Yeah. I'm just worried about the
delivery.
The lines,
just the lines themselves. I mean, when I think of Spider-Man, the most Spider-Man stuff I've ever been a part of is comic books. And the lines didn't feel witty enough. It didn't feel clever enough. It felt like it was trying to be, but it hadn't gotten to it yet. And it could just be that this is just a bad scene.
It's entirely possible. I mean, it's pre-rendered, whatever. So like they knew what they were running through. For me, I think the question is like, this is clearly a more veteran Spider-Man. I swear to God, if I have to see Uncle Ben die again, I'm gonna lose my shit at the beginning of this game.
I don't think you're.
I hope we just go right past it, and we're like, nope. I'm Spider-Man. I'm 5-10 years into this. I've got it down. He has
to. And the reason why I think that is I go back to that first trailer from the warehouse.
Well, because he's already put the villains in this prison.
Yeah. Not only that, but it's he's communicating already with whoever was in his headset. Plus, if Miles is like just having Miles in the universe means Peter's older.
Yep.
Because Miles wasn't born when Peter just got the powers, or was like a toddler or a
unless you're in the Marvel universe, you know,
unless
where
you're
that's exactly what's.
I know
there's
different
like literally a
timelines everywhere.
6-year difference between them, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, with this one, it seems like, all right, if Miles is this old, Peter Parker's been doing this for a little bit, and he's not Uncle Ben. Oh my God, you just died. Because I'm like you.
Yeah.
I've seen him die. It's like Batman. I've seen his parents die.
At this point, I'm
Maybe
so
you'll
happy
get a
they jumped right
flashback,
past it.
and then you could they can piss you off like that.
Yeah, that would be a final thing. Honestly, though, like I love the game. I think it's got a ton of potential for success. The thing that concerns me about it is like, are they going to squeeze into like a DLC Mania game where they can tag on? Because look, the property's
with costumes.
there, the ideas are there. Like,
You're talking with like Spider-Man, like
adding costumes, adding villains, and like this is a game you can build on.
I can
It'll
see
have,
them
like,
going
3 or 4
Arkham, where it's like
Yeah.
you've got costume packs 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Well, that's the question. Are they going to if
Because
say let's say
Arkham
this is
did the
successful?
same thing with like the Dark Knight suit. You've got Dark Knight Return suit, the Batman Beyond suit, the animated series suit.
I think, I mean, that's one thing, but I think what Dave is more talking
Like
about
side
is
stories and stuff.
Yeah, actual added stuff, or what some people like to say, stuff that may have been taken out of the game.
Yes,
to be
I'm
sold
releasing
to you later.
75% of a game. You have to pay for the last bits as I release them.
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think if they do any DLC, it'll kind of be like the Arkham thing of like, all right, this was the story. This DLC is a side story to it, or an addition to it. Aftermath. The one thing though, DLC wise, that you bring that into, although I didn't play the first game of this, the Division 2, how they did their DLC blew my mind, where it's like, yeah, you're going to get this game. Oh, and by the way, the first DLC package, which will be 3 episodes, free to everyone.
Yeah, no.
And I'm like, oh my God, beautiful. Give me DLC for free. I'll play it.
Season passes,
play the
baby.
first one. Yeah.
All about season passes.
You got a free season pass, essentially. Yeah, I mean, I actually thought the Division looked super awesome the first time I ever saw the first one.
Yeah.
Then watching gameplay, because I didn't do a beta or anything like that. And I didn't buy it. Yeah, and I saw the gameplay, and I'm like, it just looks like Destiny, but in a different setting.
Well, same thing with like Anthem. People are saying, it looks like Destiny.
It's going to be the same thing. That's my concern with Fallout 76. It's just going to be another one of these.
Talking about a game that I paid for only 25% of when I bought it. Destiny's one of them.
You paid for about 10%.
And then I was like, oh, I'm not going to do it again. And then this
Destiny
guy over
2.
here is like, hey, we got to get Destiny 2.
I enjoyed it.
That's one where
thanks for wasting my money, Dave.
I played the beta for Destiny, and as soon as I played it, I'm like, I am not going to like this game. I know I'm not liking this game.
Like, the problem is the storyline was god-awful. The content itself got repetitive after a while, and the end game didn't feel epic. It didn't bring me back, be like, oh, I got to really grind to, bump up a couple
There's a reason
better.
you're back playing WoW.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's Destiny 2, they've at least acknowledged that. And the DLCs, to be fair, I've heard so much better about the game after the first DLC got released. Like, it's gotten to be a better game, but it's still not a game that I want to go back to. And like, Division 2, like, they know the end game was crap. They know the PvP was crap. And it's the acknowledging that, hey, this is an area we know we can do better. Yeah. So now Division 2...
we had it a few times, too. I mean, we had that with EA where they were like, we know that Battlefront 2 was not what you guys wanted.
They owned up to that
We're working on it. And I'm like, that's cool. That's cool that you're working on it. But for me, I kind of feel like a lot of gamers, I mean, actually, to be honest, a lot of gamers are just going to buy whatever the hell you put in front of them. But there's a portion of gamers to where, like, you got to kind of earn some of this back. And I wish that more gamers would do that. Make them earn it back. Earn your trust back. Earn your money back. Do something like all right, we're going to give you free DLC because we knew that the last one wasn't perfect. So we're going to give this to you. We're going to give you more.
Yeah, and I think that's really what like Division 2 is starting to do for me, because I'm getting that feel. Like, I'll be honest, like, I'm back in WoW. At the same time, I'm out of the corner of my eye. I'm keeping my eye open for things. And Division's one of those games where, like, the combat looks good enough. The thing for me is it's about like the diversity of the gameplay, and like, can you deliver on that? Hey, we're doing 8-player dungeons for endgame, like these raid situations. Like, they're adding stuff in there that it makes me want to play the game, but at the same time, like, I know I'm going to be disappointed playing this game. Well, I'm going to invest time and quit.
I like the story of it because it seems like the Division 2 is more on, all right, we're trying to rebuild America.
And we got
now
Civil
it's
War
more
coming.
about like people where it's like, wow, these guys are assholes. All right, me and my team are coming in. We're going to right the ship. We're going to take these guys down and build America back how it should be. America.
Are they going to make America great
Yeah,
again?
they're going to MAGA it.
Nice.
No, they're not going to MAGA it. But you get what I'm saying, where it's more about the people connection rather than the, this is what happened and why the world went to shit.
Yeah, now we're in
Division
DC.
One.
It's a different setup. I like it in theory. And that's one of the things, like, that's going to be a game where I'm going to let it drop, and I'm going to see how the reviews go. I'm going to see how people play it for, like, give me, like, 2 weeks. See
Yeah,
if
this
after
is-
the 2-week burnout,
This is
how many
not
people are still
oh
playing.
my God, I need it day one.
Yeah, no, this is one I would be afraid of because of they burned me once. I want to make sure people stick to this. Like, yes, they claim to have numbers there, but I don't think that's live. So, no, with that game, meh. Very, could be good, but I'm going to, expectations even keel to it. The one, I mean, I want to jump into it because I know it's Ricky's Lord and Savior is Kingdom Hearts. You've been waiting a long time. And we watched the trailers about 17 times
Not only
during this freaking event.
We got like you said, we got 17. We got I got to see more of the Frozen world, which I'm excited about. They showed the Pirates of the Caribbean is going to be back,
and like Captain Jack looked like Captain Jack.
I know, and it's like this is. I can't wait for it. But like Mark said, be prepared.
You're gonna wait for
because
it.
it's going to get pushed back a month, and I'm going to have to wait until
Oh, and
February.
here's something that I think is cool and correct me if I'm wrong on it, but in Sony's part of it, they announced the Kingdom Hearts PS Plus, or I'm sorry, PS Pro.
I'm already I'm thinking about getting that already.
Oh, I'm
the
sure you will.
only thought in my mind was how close is PS5 because I don't want to buy this and then have to buy PS5
I don't
2
think
years
you have to
down
worry
the line.
about that.
2
I
years,
really think,
2.5, right about there.
Yeah, 2022 maybe. But I think that with Kingdom Hearts, I like that they're like, hey, you can get this, and it comes with everything else on the PlayStation. Now, here's my question, and you guys would know better. Does it literally come with everything I would need? If I am someone who has never played Kingdom Hearts before, which I am, I literally have never played a Kingdom Hearts game in my life. Would that give me everything I would need to walk in and be caught up on the story?
Yes, I would say so. Because usually the good thing that Kingdom Hearts games do, in my mind, is, and maybe it's because I've played, I played the second one, I played the first one, they do reference back.
Yeah.
A little bit, especially early on in the beginning.
It's a complex story.
With games.
It's a ridiculously complex story.
And let's be completely honest. When Johnny and I talked about the trailer a while ago, before this podcast even became a thing, there were a ton of people, because I never played like the 1.5 and the 2.5 and like the little mobile things, and they're like, oh my God, you've got to play. Like that links into the story. And I'm like, I was always like a main console guy. Give me PlayStation 1, give me PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Like, and that's something too of like, I think you'll be able to come in, or at the least, hey, let me read a Wikipedia page to see where we're at.
No, you can't read that shit because it's complex as hell.
It honestly is.
It's more confusing
Then you
to
know
try
what?
and read it.
You come to me with any questions, Mark. I'll fill you in before you play.
It's ridiculously because if there was a moment where I'm like, I might get caught up on this, and I'm like reading all about these like 8 different games out there, and I'm like, no, I'm not.
I'll be honest, I learned Kingdom Hearts through watching people play it. The entire first time I watched a playthrough. The second time was Games Done Quick for charity.
I thought it'd be up your alley too, because not necessarily the Disney side of it, but like it's when it came out, it was like, hey, this is like a Final Fantasy VII game, but Disney.
Exactly. No, it absolutely should be something, but I just never got into I never wanted to play it. I always enjoyed watching it. That's more so like my childhood growing up, never getting to play, always being stuck without a controller as the youngest one. Yeah. So that's more of a me thing, but honestly, it looks amazing. After the years and years and years and years and years of waiting for this game, Ricky, are you happy with the first sign?
I can't wait.
Can't wait.
And like it's more so of the worlds that I've seen. I get to see worlds that we're not going to see ever.
I mean, how many worlds are there going to be?
There's going to be just the ones off
40?
my head that we haven't been to. We're going to be to Frozen for the first time. We're going to be Entangled for the first time. We're going to be Monsters Inc., Toy Story. I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean, we're coming back to that one. It looks like Hercules.
Polished.
We're going to be coming back to Hercules. And that, to me, is the most exciting is what new. I always like the new ones that we go back to.
Yeah.
Like the new ones
the new ones we go back to.
The new
Well,
ones.
you've seen the movie, so you're going back.
That's what I'm talking about. The
okay.
new ones, like Frozen, cannot wait to get dived into that because from the trailer when Elsa takes off her glove and you go, oh my God, you can do that? I'm like, I cannot wait to have her in my party and have her be one. Or like with Tangled, using Rapunzel's hair to grapple places and use that. Cannot wait for it. Cannot wait. I sound like Bart Scott. I can't wait. Can't
That's
wait.
good.
The
Can't
jet's
wait.
coming in for a landing.
Yep.
I can't wait.
Can't wait.
No, I think the coolest thing for me is seeing. Honestly, it's seeing the stuff that, like you said, you've seen it in movies, you've seen it as a child growing up, and now you get to play through it. You get to experience it for yourself. Like it's just the biggest nostalgia trip, and that's why it will make so much money.
I just wish that the gummy ships are going to be better because
it looks like it will be more of a feature.
It just seemed like a piece of shit part of the game that I didn't want to go through. Yeah, exactly. Hey, we don't want to give you a loading screen, so here's a dumb ship that I'm like, I don't care about uploading this little pixelated box.
No, it looks like they're going to actually invest into it a little bit.
Thanks, Dale.
So, Mark, being the Kingdom Heartsless man in the group, do you think after watching the show, does it intrigue you at least?
Well, the thing that's difficult with Kingdom Hearts is kind of what I was mentioning before. There's so much there that it does feel like there's a big barrier to entry. There's a big wall in front of me where I'm like, I don't know that I want to make that investment because I feel like I'm probably missing out on some stuff. And I've seen most of these Disney movies. I haven't seen all of these Disney movies. So that's part of the thing, too. That's always been something that's kind of held me back from it because I love Final Fantasy. I'm absolutely crazy about JRPGs.
You and me, bro.
I love it. I love it so much. And I'm like, but I don't watch all these Disney movies, so I'm like, I'm already feeling like I'm missing something to begin with. So I don't know. That's Kingdom Hearts to me has always been this thing that has so many outside stuff that if you're not all in on it, I feel like you would miss out on something. And that's always been the thing that's held me back from it. Because I remember when the game first came out, you know, and I remember all this stuff in Kingdom Hearts 2 then, and just being like, I don't know if I want to play this Disney Final Fantasy game.
It's like it looked a little kiddie, you know, but at the same time, I think it's once you get into it, then it's the draw because in the first one, it was like, you know, I walked in without knowing the storyline. You play a little bit, and they give you a breadcrumb trail basically to follow, and it opens up really wide, like you said. It's a complex story arc, but at the same time, like coming in to the third game now, with no knowledge, it's going to be a little rough. But I think investment-wise for your time, like I wouldn't say no. You need to go back and play 1 and 2. I would say
I would advise it because they're beautiful.
If you have the time to do it, sure. The simple playthrough, you don't need to go 100% completion on this stuff. But that's one of the things I want to talk about is that's the kind of game where, like you said, you haven't watched Tangled 14 times because you don't have a daughter or son. Like you don't have kids around you, so you don't have the in-depth knowledge. But for people who do, like you get more out of the game. It's not like you as someone who hasn't watched it's not going to get it at all. It's just that you're like, oh, there's that nice little thing points of reference
that you got.
Let me put it this way. Like, you just heard me talk about the excitement about the Frozen.
Sure.
And that's
you gonna let it go?
Well, that's just me from the trailer because all I've seen of Frozen, first off, didn't see it until like, what was the last year I was teaching? Like 2015 when my 5th graders were like, yeah, let's watch it. And I'm like, sure. And we only got through half of it. So I've only seen the first half of Frozen, yet I'm super excited to be able to play that just what I've seen from what they're giving me in the trailer.
That's fair. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and that's the thing where I'm wondering, I joked and said, like, how many worlds are there? Is it going to be 40? Like,
almost. Like, I mean, from the first one, we were in Wonderland. We were in Monstro, the whale from Pinocchio. Atlantic, Little Mermaid, Hercules. We were in Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Tarzan, Halloween Town, Hollow Bastion. And then in Kingdom Hearts 2, we go back to Agrabah. We're going to the Land of Dragons, which was Mulan for the first time. Tower That Never Was, we're going there. There was Peter Pan that we also went to. So it was like, we are Winnie the Pooh also. So it's like, are they going to build upon all of these worlds? Or it's like, hey, you know what? We're not going to revisit all the ones that we've already been to because we don't want to make a 30, 100,000, bajillion, gajillion hour game. Like, we don't want it to be that long of a game. We're not going to go to every world that we've been to already.
Fair enough.
Which is good.
I mean, that's the problem is they totally could. And people would play.
And hey, maybe
I would,
maybe
and
that's
I would
the
play
DLC.
every second of it.
Maybe
See,
that's
that's
3.25 and 3.5.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
If they do that shit, I don't know.
We are just in the age of DLCs.
Ugh.
We are.
Back in my day, you bought a game and that's what you got.
You just wait for
You
that
had
Kingdom
the
Hearts
whole game.
3 season pass to come out.
Back in my day, I put that cartridge into the N64 and that was the game I got.
Oh my god.
That's all you
You guys
got.
are terrible. As far as sinking hours into a game, though, Mark,
Yeah.
Fallout 76. This is a
Yeah,
game where
yeah.
people. I mean, I've gone to conventions, seen people with the bottle caps, the full get up,
The Pip Boys.
yes,
Yep. I got a Pip
like
Boy.
everything.
One of our friends, Sean, who's not Sean Anderson, but one of our friends, not related to
Non-MVP
the,
Sean.
he would take actual bottle caps and make the Fallout bottle caps.
Yep.
Don't you have a Pip Boy?
Yeah, I got a Pip Boy. Yep, it's cool. I could put my phone in it if I want. I wouldn't, but I could do it. 76 is interesting. You know, it has all this hype. I was slightly disappointed personally that I found out it's an MMO because I just don't play MMOs really. The only one I've really ever played on a decent basis was a long time ago, The Sims Online. Long time ago.
But that game got weird.
It definitely
Yeah.
does. You know, and I played World of Warcraft and stuff like that a little bit. I played the Old Republic for Star Wars a little bit. You know,
KOTOR.
but it's just for Fallout 76, I totally understand what people are saying that it is not feeling like what Fallout should be. And that they're kind of going this different direction. But I think people are way overreacting to it a lot. Because here's the thing, Metro Exodus is going to come out. And if you really want to play one of these post-apocalyptic games,
Oh my god.
just play Exodus then. Because it's your thing if you want a single player.
But it's not in the Fallout universe, man.
It's close enough.
It might as well be. It's gritty. It looks visually appealing. Like there's a lot to like
And
about that.
I totally understand some of the complaints where people are like, yeah, you know, you're not going to have NPCs necessarily because it's very focused on the other
Player
players,
versus-
and you don't want people to mess with your stuff and all that.
Very much like it reminds me of how people describe it, like of a Rust. Where it's like, I am
Rust.
going to build my base in this post-apocalyptic world. Hey, you coming up? You stay away from me. Stay away or I'll shoot you.
And you can
Stay
literally
away.
That's a cool
nuke
thing.
people.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's cool, and I think it's a cool, unique thing.
But
people
is it
just
Fallout?
wanted it Fallout. I mean,
Yeah.
it is because Bethesda's developing it, and it's got Fallout 76 as the name. You know,
Right.
I mean, part of that is that, you know, it's just a Fallout that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
and it
there's
is
potential.
it's a spin-off. It's not directly in line. It's the same thing as, you know, what, Fallout Tactics or whatever it was called. You know, with Brotherhood of Steel and things like that. It's just something on the side. Some people are going to like it, some people won't. I don't know if I'm going to play it or not. I haven't decided yet. I need to know more information about it. But like an MMO, I mean, if you don't have friends that you're playing it with, it's, you know,
Well, as
that
far as
takes
the
Like
away
we
MMO,
from
talked
it.
about with WoW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the MMO though, the stuff that I'd heard was like rumored to be like you're going to be on a server with maybe, you know, a couple dozen people at a
Yeah.
time. You know, it's not like a true huge open world MMO.
It's going to be a little bit
although,
more like GTA Online.
Yeah. Although size of the world, I'm hearing some ridiculous people.
4 times the size of Fallout 4.
Yeah, which is nuts. Like I'm trying to imagine that size of a map that you can explore, that you can delve through.
Yeah. But I
and
wonder if they're
that's
going to
intriguing.
take an approach kind of like, I think it was The Witcher 3 that did this, where it was like, yes, we have this huge world, but you can only go to certain sections at certain times. You know,
I hope
and
not,
things
yeah.
are kind of broken off a little bit. And maybe those are all different servers. I don't know. But yeah, Fallout 76 is going to be interesting. I'm in this weird part. I joked about it when we weren't recording that, you know, being the guy who's married, being the guy who's got the wife there with him, you know, I had to be very strategic about my time when it comes to gaming. And
Yeah.
E3 is very different now for me as opposed to I'm going to buy everything I see that I like. Now, you know, here's 2 games that are going to take me 60 hours. I'm buying them on the same day. You know, no, it's like, all right, I got to pick 1 or 2 of these games coming out to be excited about and to get. I mean, I played Persona 5 for like over a year.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's a 100+ hour game, but I played it for over a year. You know, I got to get something that's going to give me a lot of
value.
And Fallout 76 could be that kind of thing. I mean, it's a shame that Elder Scrolls 6, whatever it's going to be called, is not going to come out anytime in the near future because it is a next-gen game.
I was going to say.
They said it's a next-gen game.
You're all like, no, next gen's never coming. And I'm like,
well, how
they're
long
telling
is it
us.
take to
Microsoft
make
might be
Elder
the...
Scrolls
And
6?
this will be the thing that decides is, I know we talked about Nintendo earlier, but like the Switch, they're on their own calendar.
Yes.
Where it's like, we just came out with it,
They
you
do
don't have
as
to
they
worry.
please.
Whereas Nintendo Xbox, are they going to still
Sony
try to... Right, Sony. Are they going to try to stay together, or is it going to be like, nope, we'll dive in, and then Sony will be like, nope, we will trust in our process and not dive into it because
you
of you.
might get some difference of a few months, but because these are such cross-platform, games and stuff, they have to. As soon as Sony finds out Microsoft's working on one, they go, shit, we have to now too, because they have to come out.
I mean,
with
they know
these at the
they're
same
both
time.
working on it already, but it's just the timeline of release, and it's like, where do you want to cut your line in the sand of this is the specs we're going to go with? Because if you wait 6 months or 8 months or a year, you know, some new could come out and make your system totally different.
Exactly.
And that's the thing when I look at these Xbox titles, I know we saw literally 8 seconds of Elder Scrolls on a screen. And that was enough.
And really, it was just some mountains that it's like this doesn't mean anything.
But the applause that got,
I mean,
lets you know that user base
saw
is
on Twitter, on Reddit, that people were like, "Yeah, Bethesda won all of E3," and I'm like, "Did they?" Because they really just showed you the Elder Scrolls
logo
for like 10 seconds, and we found out that yes, it does in fact go to 6. And that's all. I mean, that's the thing that people said won it. I mean, it was cool.
I'm hyped for it. As far as games that could drop some hours, though, like the one for me was honestly the coolest way to present was Cyberpunk's 2077.
Yeah.
That was a game where we're wrapping up the announcements, we're ending the segment, and then all of a sudden the screen behind him just goes, and it goes wild. You get the red dot, and then all you see is all this code going through the background, and up comes the amazing world, and it's like cyberpunk noir kind of feel to it. Visually super appealing to me. I'm someone who I like that kind of style, and the guys who created this are the same guys who did Witcher 3. Like, they have the pedigree to do this. They have everything that should make storyline.
You talk about free DLC. That's a game that's God, DLC, it's free. I mean, getting everything.
This thing should be phenomenal. I'm hyped to the sky for this because they also later on did here's your opening playthrough, behind closed doors, no cameras, anything but people got to see and talk about it at least. And you start off, I don't want to go on too much rant about this, but the big thing this year seemed very much you can pick a player as a male or female, and I'm about fucking time that's a thing. I don't feel like that's too asking too much.
To where you can pick both genders.
Yes. I mean, wow. What come on, people.
I've been used to it since
game
I was a
developers
freshman in high
killing
school.
me.
Yeah.
But no, you start off your character's name V. You get to choose your backstory. You get to choose. Okay, first off, you get to. I'm gonna go back. You get to choose your body shape, your size, your tattoos. If you want to do anything, all of these aesthetically pleasing things. But then you also get to say, how did I get here? What's my backstory? How is that going to play into how I play this game?
Which you never.
What
any
options?
RPG MMO game
No. You get on the roller coaster.
You get it every once in a while, and it's usually very
vague.
Are you?
What
I think
kind of person are
Mass
you?
Effect was were you famous from a battle? Are you from Earth? Whatever. It gave you 3 really vague, or not vague, bare bones kind of things that they just referenced. Remember when you were in that battle? And all right, cool.
Yeah, it's nice reference there, bro.
Yeah.
But no, this, and it's actually one of those situations where it seems like your actions change the world around you, kind of feel to it, and that's super intriguing to me because there is so much potential there for this game to go right, because I know there's a huge fan base who wants this game to succeed, and it just looks
especially after The Witcher 3.
Yes.
And how much goodwill they have gotten from the way they've worked with their fans. I mean, they had the thing where it was this little screenshot that was saying things exactly that, where are you going to have to pay for DLC or microtransactions? And in a single player game, no, that's a joke. That's just the way they treat their fans and stuff like that, and that's awesome. And that's the way that you hope more companies go. That'd be fantastic. I'm really excited for not to go away, because that game is going to be awesome.
No, that's
for sure.
Yeah.
Something that is far away as well, and I don't know anything about it, but after Mass Effect Andromeda didn't really make anybody that excited, is Bethesda going with Starfield, which don't know much about, but it's just going to be like, if I can get Skyrim in space or Fallout in space, all right, that's all I need. I'm happy. I'm sold on that. I will buy that. Tons and tons of
Ricky, where's your hype on this?
With Starfield, that was one where it's like, you know what? I was never a huge Elder Scrolls or like Skyrim guy. So like for me, I watched it and was like, all right, that looked cool. Like, I have no ill will towards it. It was just, maybe it's because I'm not that like Elder Scrolls. I'm not that Skyrim
you never
kind
really
of
played
a guy.
Mass Effect or
nope,
anything like that.
Mass Effect wasn't me. There was the one dude I was really good friends with in college. He was all into Mass Effect and how like it was like, oh, I played number 1 and that decisions I made stayed with me for number 2 and therefore but I was just like, oh, okay, like didn't really get into that. So like that was one I saw and was like, looked cool. Don't really have a real hype level for it or a really hatred for it.
And we don't know much of anything about Starfield yet, so it's going to be interesting. I just think it's interesting. I liked to point those things out of Starfield is kind of like the, all right, man. I mean, it's not like a cause and effect type of thing, but Mass Effect Andromeda didn't work. Starfield. The No Man's Sky was a bit of a failure.
Oh my God.
And now we have things like Satisfactory, which looks awesome.
Well, you've at least mentioned to me off where you're like, a few of these games are like, what can we do to be like No Man's Sky?
There are so many games that I saw where I'm like, they're doing the exploration, the crafting, and stuff like that in space that looks like No Man's Sky. Satisfactory is a perfect one on PC, which I'm really excited. That one actually looks really cool.
Yeah.
That you can do a lot of co-op and stuff like that.
And that's one of those things because it was such a great idea and so under-delivered that it's like, I can make money off. A lot of game developers see like the opportunity available to them, and as far as storytelling in space goes with exploration, like fucking so many properties out there where you can pull from. You can get ideas. It's not like we're like cracking into something new and unique, but it's something that like I love the amount of attention's going towards sci-fi games right now because there is so much left to be
and then we're
going
to get more because they barely scratch the surface on Star Wars, and we know Respawn's working on a Star Wars game. That
the side-by-side interview
that's
and
the
crowd.
Fallen Order.
Yeah, and we have like barely any information about that at all yet. There's
come on, it's going between episode 3 and 4.
There's going to be 3 different Star Wars games that they were talking about. And we don't know like anything about any of these things. But yeah, I mean, there's so much of this, and I'm a big sci-fi person. I love to have that. I love spaceships. I love giant robots. If I can get giant robots.
Have you ever gotten into like EVE Online?
I didn't. No, I think it's a cool. I know about it. I think it's cool, but I've never really dove in.
It's one of those games where even I was like, this is too deep for me. Like there's such an investment and a build up and a time just sink into like, I'm going to play the game. I'm going to join this guild. I'm going to mine all my stuff, give the resources, going to take this ship. And like, I'll give them credit. Like some of the battles and like all of this stuff that is insane. You see the content come out afterward. The books people are writing about what's happening in the game because of the drama, because just player interactions. Like, that's a game where like, if I had a million hours to just dump in, that would be phenomenal.
Well, that is something I do love going all the way back to the beginning with Crusader Kings 2 is you get some of that where people, because it's such a history-based game where you create alternate histories, and I mean, you can do a mod to play Game of Thrones versions of it and stuff like that, and, people do that all the time where they're like, okay, I'm going to make Littlefinger win. Or like, I'm going to go back to Aegon's conquest, but they didn't conquer. They didn't unite the Seven Kingdoms. You can do a lot of that. And I think that's fascinating when you can get something where you're like working on your own and you're adding stuff. You can write those histories, those books and stuff like that. That's awesome that you can make a great community like that.
And that's what it is. It's community building kind of bigger presence than the game itself actually is.
Yeah.
Ricky, I want to know from you, though. Is there anything that is like multiplayer that stood out to you from E3?
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones.
This is one where I was watching Ubisoft's press conference, and I'm looking at this trailer. I'm at my desk at work, and I'm looking at this trailer. I'm like, the hell is this? Like, pirate ships. There was the coolest part of it where it's like, all right, we're coming up. We got to get that ship. Oh, no, there's a base over here. Put up the fake flags. Put up the fake flags. All right, I got to go slow, yes, I'm just a merchant ship. And then, all right, we're out of their vision. Back to the speed sails. And we got to cut this guy off from an island. And I'm sitting there watching. I go, is this what Sea of Thieves was supposed to be? Like, is this the better
you
version?
taking a shot to Sea of Thieves?
Yes, I am. Because although I never played it, you really wanted to play Sea of Thieves.
And I'm so happy you guys talked me out of it.
Because this looked to me like, all right, Dave, if there's a pirate game I want to play, this is the one we dive into.
Look,
not only can I play on my PlayStation 4, but it looks to me, maybe because it's a more real, like,
it's
to
a
me,
much more
Sea of
realistic.
Thieves is more on like the
cartoony.
animation style, like the Fortnite style.
Yes.
This is real, and it dragged me in where it's like, if I want to play a pirate game, this is what I'm going into.
All right, I'll do a mini Sea of Thieves rant. Look, Sea of Thieves was a great idea and it had the right crew behind it with Rare, but what they released was not a full game. They released, you make your own adventures, you do your own thing. Unfortunately, the missions they released were very tedious, doing the same thing, super repetitive after a while. The servers weren't big enough to host enough people. Basically, you knew everybody who was there after like, a half hour of playing. Yeah. And unless they logged out and you got a new ship, it just kind of got boring hunting down the same group of people.
I also didn't like what I heard of like there was no like safe areas there seemed.
Correct.
It's like,
no safe areas.
I'm at a merchant. I'm talking to this guy. Boom. I'm shot.
Hop up.
Well, great. There's no area at all where I can feel safe.
I like
at
that
all.
in theory, but the problem is because there's no progression.
People abuse
it. Well, no, because there's no progression. There's also no way to really build yourself up till you feel comfortable going to town solo, because it was a very shitty game if you were a solo player, because
someone's just going to be
ships
sitting
of
outside
2, 3 who can just easily go in there and 1v3 is not exactly a fair fight. And I know it's not meant to be fair because it's pirates, but whatever, like some sense of progression, that game would have gone a long way. This game looks like there's a lot of teamwork, a lot of cooperation, really good battles in the sea.
It looks like there's more strategy to it too. Like I said, all right, we got to throw up these sails to not get caught by them.
I mean, that seemed like a generic stage thing for me, but okay.
But it was also like I'm chasing this ship. I don't want to just chase it. On that, I want to go around the island the other way to cut him off, kind of a thing.
Mark, do you have anything that you want to?
3 things I want to mention just briefly. I don't want to talk a ton about them, but 3 things I want to briefly mention because I know we've had a long podcast. Just Cause 4's weather system looks awesome, especially with a tornado. I mean, that game's insane already on its own. It's going to get even better. Madden on PC is a big deal.
It's coming back?
That's a big deal because mods, the fact that hey, my wife can watch TV and I can still play Madden on my computer. That's awesome. I'm really, really excited about that.
Are you going to get it for the PC?
I probably will. I'm probably going to get it for the PC instead of for PlayStation 4.
It also could do a lot for... I know that there's still like a community that streams it, but now if you're a Twitch streamer or something and it's like, I only play PC... I can't really do Madden. Now you can.
I'm excited about it. Yeah, and I have moved a little bit more towards playing on my PC more often. But I'm glad you mentioned Twitch because this last thing I want to point out is I'm calling it now. This is the next big streaming Let's Play Twitch game, Maneater. The game where you're a shark and you're going to go and you're going to eat people. That's basically what you're doing. I'm seeing it right now. So many streamers are going to play it. There's going to be so many Let's Plays. I think it looks funny. I think it looks cool. It's just a PC shark game, and but only you get to be on land and eat people. So I think it looks awesome.
And my last notes on this E3 really come back to the ripoff of Destiny 2 and Anthem.
I'm still excited for it.
Look,
though.
I'm excited, but I'm also I've been burned. You got to prove to me that you can tell a story, that you have endgame content, because what I'm seeing on paper is the same exact game.
So many people are coming out with the exact same game right now because it's popular, and Destiny was popular.
It's sold. It's
sold.
Popular.
It got money. Yeah. The Division, they sold copies. They got money. Nothing is the WoW killer that everybody wants to try and be.
You will never be the WoW killer.
But yeah, I mean,
Look, people want to play with their friends, and if you can put them on a epic storyline. And it's a gear grind game where you continue to build up yourself as better, bigger, badder, and put together an end game that makes you want to come back. Log in every couple of days to get to continue to grow. that's what people
And to get
want.
those loot boxes.
It's all, oh my God.
Here's the thing, and I'm looking at a Polygon
Pets.
article right now about it.
Yeah.
And this is from, 12 hours ago is when they put this out. They put it up earlier today as we're recording this on Wednesday. And it just says at the beginning, just for now, forget about Anthem's story, characters, and campaign. In fact, forget that it's a role-playing game.
Oh.
Instead, let's talk about what it's like to play developer BioWare's upcoming action role-playing game, emphasis on action. Let's talk about how it feels. And then they go into how it feels like a shooter. And the thing that I wonder is, I'm not saying that they're going to disregard the story or anything.
Right.
More and more games, I think it'll be interesting because I heard about a week or two ago that there was a stat that not even 50%, it's like under 50% of players actually finish a story mode, a single-player game, halfway through.
I believe that.
Sounds about right.
The single-player games that I love, and I'm a guy who still, except for like maybe a Call of Duty, because that one's,
I
let's be
weirdly
honest,
enjoy Call of Duty storyline.
I enjoy it.
it's
I just
short,
never
it's
get
easy,
around
action-packed.
to it.
Yeah.
More and more people are not buying games just for a story. They're buying it for the online experience. So I wonder if this will be, it'll be an online experience. It's all going to be action. Which suit are you going to pick? It's a shooter. You get to fly around in your suit, and we're just going to hit you with the action, and you might not have to worry about the story too much. You make your own story with the people you play with.
Well, it is BioWare, so I mean, you do trust them a little bit more story-wise. You know, I don't know. I feel like I do.
Okay.
But when it comes to this, too,
Dave just has the Destiny connection, and he's been burned by Destiny, so he thinks he'll get burned by BioWare.
Yeah,
I mean,
BioWare's done good.
Maybe I'm going too far into BioWare's past a little bit with people who aren't
I'm
there
wondering how far
anymore.
you're digging. Yeah.
But I mean, Mass Effect always had it with the classic, Knights of the Old Republic. You know, the
KOTOR just...
That's, I mean, there's your story right there. I mean, that's fantastic. But yeah, I mean, a lot of those people aren't there anymore. So maybe we're losing it a little bit. But to me, I mean, Anthem's one of those games where it's going to feel like just another one. And we're getting very flooded here. And not all of these games can be successful when they're very similar on that, you and your friends playing together, this MMO type of style here. Not all of these can be successful. And there's so many of them coming out. Literally, speaking of things coming out, February 22nd, 2019, Metro Exodus, Days Gone, Anthem. There's a couple more, I think, as well. So many games are slated to come out this February 22nd date.
Yeah.
They're all big ones, too. People are going to get pushed back. For sure.
Definitely.
Too much going on one day.
Yeah, I want to agree with you and just give up on, this whole genre, but like I want it to work because the gameplay actually looks good. And I'm intrigued by these mini mech suits. The fact that yes, there's ways to customize them to be your own. The gameplay with a party, like how do you compose a party? Do you want to have two of these, one of these, one of these? That's the kind of thing that like brings me back. Is like, let me be unique compared to everybody else. Let me set myself apart differently, but at the same time, like, don't hold me back to the point where I can't complete this because I chose X.
Yeah.
So,
and you wonder too, I mean, there's only so many type of classes, traditional classes that you can do. I mean, can you truly cross a tank and a healer or something like that? I mean, traditionally, no, you can't. They're two very different kind of things.
Maybe somebody does it wild and it works. Like that's the thing is like, give me some new shit. Like, I feel like we're okay. So we've got a bunch of pirate games that have launched in last year. We've got a bunch
samurai
of
games.
Samurai games.
Yep.
Now we're digging into
Space.
sci-fi.
Yep.
We're going space hard. I know
Everybody's
there's some
doing
unique
MMO.
properties out there, but they're much smaller groups. They're smaller developers. So like, what for you would be the next big like thing that's gonna be like, oh, we're gonna see this and then we're gonna see clones.
I'm
Something
predicting
unique?
the trend.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
For me, I think I look at the Fortnites and stuff,
Battle Royale,
and
everything.
I wonder
baby.
how many more games are going to dive into the Battle Royale
plenty.
genre.
Because
Tons.
people love it.
Yeah.
Like, and will that be
And
the Call of Duties have already done it? Will most of our
Battlefield's doing it now.
multiplayers
The
one-on-one
one
be
thing
Battle Royale?
But here's the thing about that. I mean, Battle Royale is not really that much different than the old King of the Hill mode.
Yeah.
In multiplayer. So I don't really have a problem with
It's
Battle
virtually
Royale.
the same thing.
I know that people are mad about everyone's doing Battle Royale and it's a big meme right now, but it's like, it's just a multiplayer mode. You know, I mean, people adding it, big deal. You know, play team deathmatch, capture the flag, or
let's be completely honest. It's basically Call of Duty free for all, except you only get one life and the map's bigger.
Yeah, so I'm not really that concerned about that. I'm wondering when it comes to the what's going to be that big unique thing. The one thing I will like to say is Transference was Elijah Wood's game. Transference.
That thing looks creepy and like just whoa.
Control. Which I think was Sony's conference. There's Death Stranding. There are these unique, weird, artsy kind of games that are not 100% unique. It's not like nobody's ever done anything like it before, but
that's it.
There are some unique things out there.
You spark something because I didn't think about it. The next big thing, deeper dive into VR. Like Transference, like Tetris effects. That's going to be the next thing.
I don't buy VR.
I think VR's coming. Like, it's already here.
It's been here for years.
It's here already, but I think we're going to, in the next few like stages, see more and more games kind of go into it. And I'm going to say, like,
there's a ton of potential for it.
I wouldn't be surprised if 5 years down the line, it has a greater presence than it is now, to where it's like, oh my God, we're playing in VR.
The requirements to have a good VR, like,
it's ridiculous.
Experience is pretty high right now.
You need space.
Yes.
You need a good system that can handle it. You need a good game
Maybe
that
it's
allows
a next
you
gen.
You need developers who can actually build a world where you can freely move. Like, the kids who like are into like SAO and that kind of stuff, like, never gonna happen. But, you know, we can get to a point where VR games are more than like, and I don't want to talk shit because I love Super Hot, but like,
I love
Super
that
Hot
VR though.
Is a ton of fun.
Yeah,
and
when
it's
you're
limited.
actually like slashing and like.
Oh yeah, Beat Saber.
Yeah, there's that one too.
But let's be honest though, how many people actually want to get up and do something when they want to relax and play a game after work or after school?
I feel like it's just going to evolve into. It's going to evolve into it. I think.
Are you think, Mark? You're saying it's 3D TV basically.
It's 3D TV. It is.
Yikes.
You know, it's the what was it? It's the Kinect. It's all the motion
HD
stuff.
disc.
I mean, how popular was the Wii? And they're not doing it anymore for Nintendo. You know, the Kinect was an utter failure. PlayStation Eye, PlayStation Move. No one even remembers it existed. You know, VR has been something everyone's always wanted because people want to be Ready Player One. People want to be Tron.
Yep.
They want to do these type of things. They want to be a Jedi, you know?
Oh my God, yes.
But it's not going to happen.
No.
It's never going to happen because it's just too much that goes into it. I see that Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic right now.
I know. Dude,
I see Revan right there.
The talks about that game, and it's coming out between the timeline is between episode 3 and 4.
Yeah,
I love it how
one of
it's
the
like
Jedi
you're
who
a
survives.
Padawan. Yeah, a Padawan who's like you're one of the surviving.
Ooh,
I can't wait because
I
it's
just
like
hope these Star Wars games are going to be good though.
That's the thing. Like,
I know.
They're releasing
right?
a couple of them.
I
like,
love Star Wars.
It's a great property. I know it's getting a lot of love right now. Don't make it cheaper. Don't make it cheaper.
Because when you think about there's been so many Star Wars games when you really look at the history of games.
Oh my God, yeah.
And the vast majority of them are terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible is a strong word. I mean, less than good.
They're pretty bad.
They're less than good.
Dave's like
majority of
less
them are
than
pretty
stellar.
bad.
I'm gonna be nice about it.
Very few do you get, you know, your like Knights of the Old Republic, or you get I forgot that one with the bounty hunter on the N64, Shadows of the Empire. Very rarely the original Battlefront 2.
Yeah,
there's not that many of those ones out there compared to shitty Pod Racer.
I can't remember the name of it, but I remember I had one for the PlayStation 1 that was a dual disc, where as a kid, the level that I got to before I kept dying was you basically had to fly the Millennium Falcon through this like cave that was like a tube, and I just kept hitting the walls and couldn't do it, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm done, and I never picked it up.
That's why you still don't drive today.
That's why I never drive today, because I keep hitting stuff on the side of the road.
Yep.
Fair enough. Closing remarks on the conference. Impressed, not impressed?
Here's the thing I want to ask, and I just want to throw this towards Mark's way.
Yeah. Sure.
We're not going to go, I don't want to go through a complete, like, I don't have a ranking. You said you did, so I want you to give us your ranking. Unless
first-
you have it too, Dave, because I
No.
didn't.
The only thing I gotta mention, Andrew WK rules. I forgot
There
to
were a
mention
lot of
that.
His
people
opening
online
performance is
shitting
solid.
on
Because
the-
people
They
don't
don't
know
like
who
him.
Andrew
Shitting on,
WK is.
not just that, like shitting on the whole, like, why do we have the Donkey Kong music before? Like, I'm not here for a concert. I'm here for my games.
And I'm just like, shut up, enjoy the experience. Andrew WK is a blessing upon this earth. Like, let's enjoy AWK.
Which, by the way, I will say this is a Greg Miller thing from
Party
Kind of
hard?
Funny. He said when they're doing the whole Last of Us banjo thing,
Yeah.
and you see everyone with their phones up like vertical. It's like, shut the hell up, put your phone down. You're never gonna watch this video again.
No.
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
you doing? Unless you're like one of the actual people this way, because I'm doing it for the gram, man. Gotta do it for the gram.
Most of those people probably are, but I actually thought all the music thing, that was a cool little theme going
Yeah.
on, especially during Sony's thing. I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it, but I'm a musician, so my rankings, I mean, you know, I'm not gonna go super big into everything I say. PC was my favorite because it was just games. It was just
Well said.
nonstop. Then I actually think Microsoft did an awesome job. Yes, they didn't focus as much about first party type of stuff, but they showed you so much. I thought it was really good as well. Then I go to Sony. Sony did a very good quality over quantity approach, really only showing you 6 games, being like, hey, these are our stuff that you care about. We're not going to be very showy. We just want to show you some games. Then I like Nintendo. Bethesda, they did well, but really it was just kind of the end. They knew how to work a conference, is really what it was. Because, I mean, how amazing was it to have so many people complain about Fallout 76, and then Elder Scrolls 6 shows up, and they're like, nope, this is the best conference ever. EA probably comes next for me. They were fine. Nothing.
that wasn't
too
last on your
special.
list?
No, I
A
don't think
lot
No,
of
they
people,
weren't.
like EA, like when you look online, it's like EA was the worst. EA is shit.
But but people always hate EA. So
Yeah. Loot boxes.
I mean, but I mean, they're gonna talk about Star Wars. It's gonna sell me a little bit on some things.
Yep.
Then Square Enix after that.
Okay.
Why even show up?
They didn't do
That
much.
was my problem.
Yeah.
Why even show up? All of your shit was shown at other times during the conference. There's nothing you brought that was
If
unique.
you're not
during
gonna
that.
show a Final Fantasy game, you don't really. need
The
to do
only
very
thing,
much.
and I don't know if this has been shown other places, the only thing where I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, is when they did the, like, I think it was like Final Fantasy VII and Monster Hunter World, and the, like, crossover between that. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, but I don't know why I watched this.
Yeah.
Why did I watch
Yeah.
this entire
No,
time?
theirs was
they didn't really need to be there.
less
But
than
I
stellar.
actually thought Ubisoft's was my least favorite because I look back and I'm like, I can find something I care about in every single conference. Ubisoft's entire conference, I sit there and said, I don't care about a single thing you guys just told me.
You know what you also just reminded me of with
Oh,
Square
I also
Enix?
didn't rank Devolver because I didn't
Yeah.
Yeah,
pay
that's
attention to it at all.
Square Enix, the thing that I was also confused about is nothing about your Avengers game. We've heard about this Avengers game, and you have nothing about it. Like
They got nothing to
that-
talk about, nothing to
that
show.
to me, like, bring me something though. Like, either if you're gonna, like, it doesn't have to necessarily be a gameplay trailer, but like, I know their whole thing was basically, hey, we're just gonna show you trailer. No one basically talking except for the narration over everything. But I would have loved some, even if it's someone from Square Enix telling us a little bit about it, because not having it there, I was like, all right, how far is this away? Like,
Very,
like
probably.
not just that, but like, should I forget about it for right now? Like, you are giving me nothing about this Avengers game.
Well, they've
when
been
you
working
gave
on
me-
the Final Fantasy VII remake
Remaster.
for,
Well,
a
that's
decade and
because
a half or whatever.
that's because of poor decisions up top when they were saying basically they sent off this team of developers like, all right, we trust you guys. You guys, third party,
Yeah.
make our game for us. 3 years later, they turn around. Oh fuck! It's awful. You guys,
Yeah.
no, you
I mean, they're
totally.
still
and
hiring
they went
people
scrapped
for
down to the
that
ground.
game.
Yeah,
You
they
know.
scrapped down basically all the work they'd been done, and then now they're building
So
it back
this
up.
Avengers game, don't expect it.
Yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe 2020.
Anytime
Maybe
soon.
2020.
Well, I'm not expecting it in 2019. I was hoping to see something from it, even if it was a little bit better of a, well, not better, a little
Yeah.
bit in depth of a teaser that we saw the last time, where it's like they show the shield of Cap and stuff.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
then it's like, if we're going to show just another teaser, what's the point?
How long can you tease?
Yeah.
long enough, Dave.
All right,
Long
Ricky,
enough.
any closing comments from you?
You know, I'm happy with the stuff we talked about. Happy with some of it. The no Avengers, I wasn't happy about. The no Superman, was not happy about. Like, and when I say not happy about, I'm really upset about it.
Yeah.
In the end, but no, there's a lot of games that I'm actually excited about, and unlike Mark, I got to figure out how to buy these games because I'm too old to game, man.
Too old to game. From my end, I want to give two last shout outs. One, visually, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, platformer, visually. And I've said the word visually so much, but like this is just a standout year for me, graphics-wise, at E3. I thought everything looked beautiful.
Yeah.
This game specifically, as a side-scrolling platformer, like, whew, that is bringing some major heat.
Well, you bring that up, and the one I'll just mention is that Sea of Solitude. That's the one that's basically the you're on, like, part of it was like a person on a raft, but it's more of like that's the one where they're dealing with like isolation and the girl becomes a monster.
It's unique.
And
Yep,
it
cool
looks
looking.
interesting to me. I'll say that.
100%. And a game that my final one, Assassin's Creed. Look, it's another
Odyssey.
Assassin's Creed. They're enjoyable games, rinse, repeat in another location. Like, I'm probably gonna play it. I'm probably gonna play it. Beyond Good and Evil 2 got a lot of hype, but like I guarantee you, like 1/3 of these people never even heard of Beyond Good and Evil 1. So
Yeah.
like, I think that one will die down. Anyway, overall, I'm giving it like a C plus, B minus, B minus. I'll go B minus conference on my end.
The entire thing?
Yeah, I'll just sum it up. I'm going B minus. Like there's a lot of good, but there's also a lot of stuff that I just didn't care.
Solid B. For me, I know what I like, and from what I was looking for, it hit everything I needed. So I'll give it a B.
I would agree with a B. I mean, you're in this weird stage where you're not getting ready for, like, you're getting ready, but you're not making next gen happen. A generation didn't just start.
It's an awkward middle ground.
Yeah, there's not like I mean, there are big games coming out, but it's not like, that there's this huge groundbreaking type of game that's about to come out. There's big ones, Kingdom Hearts. They mentioned the Elder Scrolls, a new Fallout. Things like that are important, but
we've been waiting.
I mean, you don't have something that's just going to change the whole game.
No game changes this year, but overall, solid conference. Thank you guys for watching episode 1 of Too Old to Game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys leave us comments. Let us know if you liked it. Let us know if there's stuff we talked about during this near 2-hour show. Rattling through E3, everything we could remember, and a little bit of nostalgia mixed in. If you want to check us out on iTunes, rate us 5 stars. I'm sure this show won't be up there right away.
No, it will have to. So what we're going to do for that is we'll host it from the website, and whenever iTunes approves it, that's when
so
it'll
it
be
is
up there.
audio. You can get it on the website.
Yeah.
Side note, too, we should point out that even though that if you're listening to this when it first comes out, and then next week you're like, I'm back, and we're not there, that's on purpose. There is not going to be an episode 2 next week.
Because we will not be in Chicago next week.
And I don't think I can do a 2-hour show all on my own.
Mark, I believe in you.
Yeah, exactly. But so it's gonna be 2 weeks, and then we'll be back normally.
Yep. You can also, if you want to support us, check us out on Patreon. Always, you can check out our website for more content, more videos, more a couple articles. I feel like the articles are gonna come along.
I'm trying to get that a little bit more and more. It's going.
I like it. And you can always check out our store. Pick up one of these sweet T-shirts I'm rocking here. But
and you get to see Dave's face again because he's the model on the website.
That's right.
Yeah, I need to get paid more for that, I feel.
Nah.
For Mark Weber, Ricky Widmer, I'm Dave Oster. Thanks for watching.